Hello and welcome back to my channel. Now can you guess what I'm going to start with? It's Saturday morning again, we're in Nottingham and it's raining. Couldn't believe it when first thing this morning, before I was even up and about, I got a text from my husband saying it's Saturday and it's raining. Well, what do you expect? Anyway, I've been to group, really good, active, lively group this morning. We do get some great discussions going in our group. Naomi has a real gift of encouraging people to kind of open up and ask questions and share things. And I have to say, I've been in a lot of groups over the years where we all sat in silence, just like a load of people who had nothing to say. And now I find it so encouraging because it's not just one or two people who hold the floor. There are a lot of people who are prepared to contribute and share where they struggle or where they succeed. Anyway, I went to group and I did I was going to say a daft thing, but it wasn't a daft thing because I chose to do it. Last Saturday, well in the previous week, somebody had bought me a Maltesers Easter egg, which had the Malteser bunnies, are they, in it? Never had one of those before. And on the Saturday, I said to Joe, oh, I think I'll give it away. And Joe said, why? Because you like Maltesers, why are you giving it away? And I said, well, if I eat it, I'll gain weight. And Joe said, Mum, you know, you've got the rest of your life ahead of you. If you eat it and you gain weight, so what? You know, that's not the end of the world. And I thought, no, he's right, and I would enjoy it, but I don't eat chocolate on a daily basis. And he said, well, no, you don't eat chocolate on a daily basis, but does some of what you fancy occasionally, is that guaranteed to do you any harm? Anyway, to cut a long story short, I chose to eat the Easter egg, and I chose to lay down any guilt, and I chose to enjoy it. And I did eat it, and I did enjoy it. And the one thing I've learned from actually doing that was it did not leave me wanting another one. And that's another non-scale victory, because the old me wouldn't have wanted one Easter egg. In all sincerity, the old me would have wanted 2 or 3, and then something else, and then something savoury, and then something else sweet. So it was quite a nice learning curve, and I thought afterwards, you know, I ought to have set him a bet. Will this make me gain weight or won't it? I'll bet you a tenner. I love a bet. Anyway, I ate it and then I forgot about it. I didn't whittle about it all week. I continued at tea time on my normal plan. So all in all, what I have to say this week is 6 days out of 7, I had 15 sins and 4 healthy extras, 2 A's, 2 B's. I didn't have any add-ons, and a lovely, lovely lady did send me an email this week, and she very gently and very kindly said, you know, Jane, you do say I'm bang on plan with my 15 sins and my healthy extras, but then I was having these add-ons, and they shouldn't be add-ons, they should be add-ins. So for a couple of days last week, I didn't have 15 sins and 4.5 healthy extras. I had those extra sins, and it actually helped me. This lady pointing it out in such a considerate way, actually, I'm going to say thank you, Wendell, because you really helped me. It did help me to see what I was doing, because I was considering myself on plan and then judging those little add-ons as if they wouldn't do any damage, but knowing that they would do damage, but not actually fully acknowledging them. I was playing a game, in effect. So this week, on the Saturday, I chose to have this Easter egg. I do not know how many sins it was. I didn't even check. So I had it in the afternoon. I had lunch on plan, breakfast on plan, tea on plan. So, in effect, went way over that day. But from Sunday to Friday, I was bang on plan with 4 healthy extras because I'm maintaining 15 sins. Went to group today, got on the scales, feeling comfortable, not confident, not unconfident, but comfortable, and got a 1.5 pound weight loss. So that actually gave me a bit of a boost. It doesn't mean I can do that every week and get away with it, but it does mean that I don't need to fear doing it occasionally if it's what I want to do. And I can live my life, as Joe said. You know, you've got to get through the rest of your life on this plan. You're not going to get through the rest of your life if you feel deprived and you keep telling yourself, I daren't eat this, I daren't eat that, I can't have this. Or if I actually act where I do eat something and then just think, oh, sod it, I've blown it, and then just blow the rest of the day. So there is a way to manage it. Because if you actually ask Amazon Echo, what, I'm not going to say it because she'll answer, but what, well, I'll ask her. Alexa, what is Slimming World?
Slimming World is a UK-based weight loss organisation that provides lifestyle weight management programs.
I don't know if you can hear that. Slimming World is a UK-based weight loss management company which provides weight management programs. It's not, sorry, the volume's low on it, you probably couldn't hear that, but it's not all about weight loss. When you get to the stage that I'm at, it's about weight management. And we're seeing more and more people on YouTube who are living at target and managing their weight, not getting consecutive losses or consecutive gains, but learning to have a life and manage their weight. So that's enough said about that. The next thing is to say that I did change my milk this week. From Sunday, I went on to the UHT almond milk, Sainsbury's own, and I love it. 750 mils for a healthy extra A, and it's worked for me all week. And I have to say, because it isn't sweetened and because it has no pretense at being sweet, it's quite the opposite. I didn't have the same cravings for the number of cups of coffee I had. I've had plenty of coffee because I drink plenty, but I haven't kept wanting to go back straight away for another one. So I think actually dropping the sugars in the milk has helped me this week. So another step forward. I made a massive decision and a massive step forward this week. When you get into your 60s, over your life, if you're lucky, and I've been very fortunate, you do gain quite a lot of nice pieces of jewellery. And over the years, my parents, who were in business, bought me some nice pieces of jewellery. My husband bought me some nice pieces of jewellery, different friends for different occasions. I had quite a lot of bracelets and bangles, necklaces and gold rings in 9 carat, 18 carat, 22 carat. I'm not saying this to boast, I'm just saying it because I had to make a big decision. Well, I didn't have to make a decision, I felt I was ready to. Since I lost all of my weight, and I've now been living for 2 years at this kind of size, I couldn't wear any of my jewellery. I could wear the odd necklace, but I couldn't wear any of my bracelets, I couldn't wear any of my bangles, and I couldn't wear any of my rings, because rings that went on my little finger before were now too big for my middle finger. Consequently, if I went like that, my rings were falling off. If I put my hand down, my bracelets were falling off. I was in danger of losing them. And some of them were quite expensive pieces, as I say, that my parents had bought and things like that. Talked to Mum about it and made a decision that I needed to let them go. I could have held on to them for sentimental reasons. I could have kept paying quite a premium to insure them every year. I could have risked having them stolen, like Joe's bicycle was stolen, and then I couldn't have replaced them. And for anybody who's been through that, like one of my dear friends did, you'll know that's a horrible place to be. So I made a decision to sell all of my jewellery, and went to see a certain company with a friend on Monday, and literally sold all of my jewellery and banked the money. Because, was I holding on to it in case I got fat again and it fit me? A lot of the rings I could have had altered, but they wouldn't have looked right because of the style of rings they were. My wedding ring, I could have had it made small. I've still got my wedding ring, but I could have had my wedding ring made smaller. But it's engraved on the inside with names and dates and things, so it would have spoilt that. All my bracelets were 8 and 8.5 inch bracelets. I now wear a 5 3/4 or a 6 inch bracelet. I did ask if some of them could have been made smaller, but because of the styles, it wasn't going to work easily. Tennis bracelets and charm bracelets and things like that, you can't have those made smaller easily. And bangles, you can't. If you've got an 8 or an 8.5 inch bangle, you've got an 8 or an 8.5 inch bangle. So I let them go. Now, I hadn't really discussed this with anybody except my mum. And I did this on Monday, and then I was left afterwards thinking, gosh, that feels odd now. You know, you've got none of all this big, you know, huge jewellery. You've got no jewellery, apart from 1 or 2 bits that I wear. And then something lovely happened. I did all this on Monday, and then Wednesday came, and in the post on Wednesday I was sent, I don't know if it's going to show, I don't know if I'm even holding it in the right place for the camera, I was sent a lovely silver bangle. Now if somebody was to say to me, what is your favourite piece of jewellery, Jane? My answer would always be a bangle. I love bangles. This bangle was sent to me by a lovely lady who's been with me from the beginning on my YouTube channel. Her name's Dawn Evans. Can you see it? Thank you so much, Dawn. Because to do that out of the blue, 2 days after I'd sold all my jewellery, and Dawn didn't know that I was doing that. She didn't know in advance I was doing that. It's just such a thoughtful, and it was perfect timing. It's such a kind thing to do. And on this bracelet it says, I am thankful. And I love that, because I am thankful. I'm thankful for where I'm living today. So a huge, huge thank you, Dawn. You'll never understand what that meant to me. You really won't. So bless you and Phil. Thank you. I was out for coffee yesterday with Joe and his dad, and I didn't have a cortado. I had black coffee, but we were sitting and we were relating stories, and I just told you the story of the Easter egg I chose to eat. Well, there were 2 Easter eggs. I chose to eat one of them, and I said to Joe, I'm going to give the other one away. But I had intended to take it to group this morning and give it to one of the ladies I sit with who has an autistic son who loves chocolate. And I said to Joe, we were talking on our way to pick up his dad yesterday, and I said to Joe, I'm going to take that Easter egg and give it to my friend's son. And Joe went, oh, you said you wanted to give it away, and I've already given it away. And I said, who did you give it to? And he said, I gave it to Dad. I said, never mind, it's gone. Anyway, we were sitting in Costa having a coffee, and Joe nipped off to a shop, and Richard and I were just chatting before Joe came back. And I said, apparently you've got my Easter egg. And he said, well, do you want it back? So I said, no, I was giving it away. I don't want it back. And he said, well, I think we're quits now. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, do you remember years ago, before we had Joe, I came home from work one night, and sitting on a plate on the worktop in the kitchen was a big cream cake. And I said, ooh, a cream cake. And I thought, yeah, I know what's coming next. He walked in, he saw the cream cake sitting on the worktop, and he went, ooh, a cream cake. And I thought, that's mine. And I said to him, in all honesty, I did buy 2 cream cakes earlier today, but I've already eaten yours. And that's just what I was like. I ate everybody's. I literally had been to Birds the Bakers and bought 2 huge cream cakes. And while I was waiting for him to come home for his tea, I ate his. Now, why didn't I eat mine? I'll tell you why I didn't eat mine, because I'm greedy. I ate his. So we had our tea, and then I ate mine. And he reminded me of this story, and Joe came back in the middle of the conversation, and Joe was laughing. He said, God, Mum, that is so like you. You ate Dad's cake rather than your own, and then you sat in front of Dad and ate your own cake. Yeah, that's just what I used to be like. It's mine and I'm having it. So, Richard, if you're watching this, we are quits. I had your cake, you've got my egg. And it's still raining. You can hear it on the windows. Right, something I want to talk about today, which may be a little bit controversial. You may agree, you may disagree, and I would love feedback. When we sit in group, so often, we may ourselves get an unexpected gain. Or we may sit in group like I did this morning next to somebody who got an unexpected gain. And I think there were 2 other people in the room this morning that also got unexpected gains. Right, I'm just going to interject here and give you my mileage, because I've forgotten last week and I've forgotten again this week. My mileage for last week was 46.63. No, let me get it right. My mileage last week was 46.46 miles, and my mileage for this week was 43.63 miles. I'm just putting that in for my own sake and future records. Right, so sat in group this morning, the lady next to me got an unexpected gain of £1.5. A lady part way around the big circle got an unexpected gain of £3.5. And this has happened to me, and I know it's happened to a lot of other people. And I know that people share in their vlogs that they get unexpected gains. So it can happen to any of us. And I was sitting there thinking, how does it happen? Because we're told, aren't we, that we have to eat 3,500 extra or surplus calories over and above what we're actually burning off to gain 1 pound in weight. And I think when it happens to you and you look back over your week, there's no way you can possibly see where you ate 3,500 extra calories. So we examine everything we've ate and we fret about it, and we think back, did we weigh our healthy extras? Did we count our sins? Might we have gone over on one sin? But one sin over is not going to make you gain 1.5 pounds in scientific theory. So I'm sitting there, thinking about it, and I thought, there's an awful lot of food out there in this big wide world that professes to have a sin value that isn't a sin value actually given to it by Slimming World. Now, I'm not talking about when we choose to have a biscuit and we look on the packet and it says this biscuit is 39 sins, and so we say, this biscuit is 39 calories, and we say, okay, I'll count 2 sins for that. I'm not talking about anything like that. I'm talking about those of us who have been or do go to our local butcher, and our butcher says, these sausages are half a sin on Slimming World. These beef burgers are half a sin on Slimming World. These meatballs are 4 for half a sin on Slimming World. And I think you know what I'm talking about if you've been around Slimming World for long enough, part of the Slimming World community. Most of us would know places like that where we could go and buy food that professed to have a sin value. Now, many years ago, when I was a part of Slimming World in the good old, bad old days, you could be a butcher or a baker and you could produce a product and you could take it to Slimming World and ask them to give it a sin value, and they would. I don't know if there was a charge incurred, but they would do that. And they did that for quite a number of years until people started to abuse it. So somebody might have a cake sin valued or a sausage sin valued and then change the recipe, but not go back to Slimming World and have it changed. So there were situations where members found that they were gaining weight and eventually were able to attribute it to the fact that they were eating sausages that had been half a sin but were probably now 2.5 sins. It's a bit like the Porky Light fiasco, but not packaged food. I'm talking about sausages and things that butchers sell by the half pound, or 500 grams, or whatever we buy them by these days. If you buy sausages from your butcher and your butcher says, oh, on Slimming World, because my wife used to do Slimming World, I invented these sausages and they're half a sin. If you want to believe that, that's grand. But if you want to be really on top of this plan, I would ask you to think seriously about it, because how do they know? Slimming World haven't given it that sin value, and they can't tell you that Slimming World have, because Slimming World don't do that anymore. So if you're buying cake, and I'm not going to name any companies because that's not fair, but if you're buying cakes or cookies, if you're buying chocolate, and chocolate's available all over the place now, that people are giving it sin values. Now, I'm not saying these people aren't being honest and aren't being genuine. What I am saying is, if you're eating it and you're still losing weight, trust it. But if something is affecting your weight loss and you're getting unexpected gains and you can't explain where these gains are coming from, even if you've analysed your plan for the week, you can't explain where these gains are coming from. Let these food items be the first thing you look at. Take them out of your plan for a couple of weeks and see if that's what makes the difference. I spoke to Naomi about it at the end of group today to make sure I had my facts correct. I thought I did, but I was only 99.9% sure. And she said there are no butchers out there selling sausages with a Slimming World sin count. Slimming World do not endorse these things anymore. Now, if you've got a local butcher and you trust him and you're losing weight eating his sausages that he says are half a sin or 1 sin, that's brilliant. But if you're starting to get unexpected gains, then let these food products be the first thing that you look at. Ask yourself, can I live without those sausages for 2 weeks? Can I live without those burgers for 2 weeks? Can I live without those bakery products for 2 weeks? Can I live without that chocolate for 2 weeks? It's different if you've got a Freddo or a Crunchy or something that has nutritional value, something you can put through the sin calculator. But if you go, there's a shop in town that I love to buy chocolate from. Their chocolate has no nutritional value, it's handmade. There's no way I can say to you, one of those chocolates is 2 sins. If ever I have one, I count 4 sins for it. Minimum 4 sins. It's only a single chocolate, but I'm not going to jeopardise my weight loss. If I go to my farmer's market this morning, you know, they sell little tiny bars of chocolate, look like the little tiny bars we would buy as, say, Oso or whatever. The Oso bars and things like that, the Freddos, whatever, they've got nutritional values. But if you're buying products that have no nutritional value, like a pound of sausage, be careful, because that could be the thing that is causing you to have unexpected gains. If it happens to you more than once, try taking that food product out of your plan for 2 weeks. See if that makes a difference. Not just 1 week, because it could be a fluke either way, can't it? You can have an unexpected gain, you can have an unexpected loss. But try taking that food product out for a fortnight or 3 weeks and see if it kicks your weight loss off again. Because sitting next to a lady in group this morning who said, honestly, Jane, I don't know what's happened. Last week I lost ½ pound. This week I have been just as well on plan. I've put £1.5 pounds on and I don't know why. So I started saying to her, you know, do you buy products like this? And she said, well, yeah, I do buy things that I'm assuming are low fat, and kind of, I've talked to other women on Slimming World who say, yes, I eat this and it's half a sin. But I've got nothing in writing that says nutritionally this is half a sin. So warning bells kind of rang in my head and I thought it was worth mentioning. Now it may be controversial, you may say, but my butcher says and I trust my butcher. That's brilliant. And if it's not affecting your weight loss, you haven't got a problem. But if you have got a problem and something is affecting your weight loss, look at the foods first that you have no proper nutritional value for. Whether it's chocolate, cake, biscuits, sausage, burgers, meatballs, you know, all the products that we would buy.
Sorry, Mum, you're at 23 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to finish now. Anyway, that's me. Got a week on plan this week, save for today because my son is taking me out to lunch. I don't know where we're going. It's a surprise and it's a treat and I'm going to enjoy myself. So that may constitute being off plan for an hour or 2, shall we say. But once that meal is over, I'll be back on plan. And I look forward to next week. So hope everybody's having a good week. Thanks again for your lovely comments. And yeah, Dawn, thanks mate. See you next week, everybody. Have a good one. And remember, it works if you work it. It won't if you don't. Take care. Bye.